We are talking health on the show this afternoon. We are certainly talking about some of the health benefits of tea as well. But right here, right now, we are marking an awareness day. It is World Hearing Day in a few weeks. In a few days. It's actually March 3rd. So every day this is there to raise awareness on how to prevent deafness and hearing loss, promote ear and hearing care around the world now. According to the World Health Organization, ear and hearing problems are among some of the most common encountered in the community. Around 60% of those can be identified and addressed at a primary level of care. We're joined now by Dr. Verma, an ENT specialist at MEDCare Medical Centre at JBR. Dr. Ravinder Verma, how are you and how is your hearing?
Oh, fine, Helen. Good to be connected with you now. Let's go get on with the agenda. What can I convey to my
I find this a
listeners?
really fascinating topic because I think when I remember having hearing tests as a child, we used to have a doctor that would come into school and we'd have to identify the beeps that we could hear, and it was picked up all quite at an early level. And then as we get older, we start to, perhaps lose some of that hearing. My father-in-law is very hard of hearing, and sometimes I think chooses to forget to put his hearing aid in. So it's a topic close to home for us. But I wonder, as adults, how do we screen for our hearing and hearing loss?
Quite simply, basically, if a person is having difficulty in hearing, it could be either in the loudness where you can't perceive any sound because of the sound not reaching your ear because of some blockages to the ear, which is a temporary phenomenon, or it could be a nerve-related deafness which creeps upon you because of some diseases or due to loud exposure to loud noises or a blast somewhere. Following some kind of an accident, many such issues which can result in early degeneration of the nerves. So when you're talking of the old age, of course, we are talking of a sensorineural hearing loss, which can be called like when you lose the vision issues with reading, like presbyopia. This is called presbyacusis, where the person will have can make out that somebody has said something, but quite can't follow what the person actually said. So it's the speech discrimination which becomes an issue, and this probably needs aids. Whereas the illnesses which are there could be because of infection, because of any developmental problems in smaller children. So they are tackled as per the cause of the deafness. So in case the child is born without problems, we are talking about giving them aids early in either which are body worn or some kind of a thing which can be fixed. I'm talking of cochlear implants here. So when we are talking in adulthood, we are talking about infections and allergies which need, or even simple stories where your nose and the throat is involved and you land up flying with otitic barotrauma. So these are pressure changes while diving. So these are the problems which I can think of in adulthood related to sports injuries, related to loud noise exposures, and or infections, of course, which is across all ages.
Dr. Verma, can we talk about loud noises? I say this to you with a microphone in my hand and headphones on my ears, and I do feel quite sensitive to noise, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues do as well after work, in radio. There's a drummer. What steps do you think we should take in our children and indeed as adults to protect our ears from loud noises? I have a friend that does her spin class with earplugs in. Are these kind of measures necessary?
Yeah. So I hear it from all the time from people that they have to wear earplugs before they sleep because of the ambient noises. You can imagine the noise which is there when you are standing on a main highway like Sheikh Zayed or something. The noise levels are literally deafening. So if you are paying attention, otherwise when you are up and about your own way, you don't even bother. Likewise, if you are going to a club or a discotheque, the levels are high, and I'm not even going where there are shows being held and where there are exposure to loud blaring music on those super huge speakers, which don't have to be super huge now because of the technology development, but they
right.
take levels up to 120, 140, 180 decibels, which are considered all harmful in the long run. So there is definitely documentation that there is a noise-induced temporary threshold shift or a permanent threshold shift depending on how much time of exposure and how loud the sound was. And then people can actually have a permanent damage if they are exposed to loud noises for a long time. Now, there is you are supposed to wear hearing aids when you are doing. You are supposed to wear hearing defenders if you are involved in certain activities which create noise. But when you are talking of normal social gatherings and the fact that people use a lot of what do you call them, headphones and all that, I think if the volume is maintained at a decent 40 level of 40 on the marker, should be enough exposure for an hour or so, and then you give a break for another 5 to 10 minutes. So listening to loud music on long-term basis on a volume which is 60 or above or 80 would be detrimental in the long run.
Dr. Verma, I had a question here from DC on the text line asking about unblocking ears. Now, this is something my dad takes great pleasure in telling me all about, going for ear syringing. We're told that you shouldn't put a Q-tip in your ear, you shouldn't put anything in your ear smaller than your elbow. So what do you recommend if ears are temporarily blocked?
Yeah, so this is my favorite topic because it is such a common thing. I don't even call it like an illness. It's like when a person goes to the doctor, it's more like a facial or a haircut. You are pulling out dead cerumen out of the ear. So good old days, we used to syringe that. I mean, it's not that people don't do it now, but we prefer to now suck it out using a small minor suction, more like a vacuum cleaning. And if the cerumen is made soft with some D-wax eardrops or Solivax eardrops, then it's all the more easy and not an unpleasant experience either for the doctor or the patient. So coming to the use of Q-tips should not be used by anybody because it acts like a ram, and it actually pushes the lovely ring provided by nature to trap germs and dust, and collapses it into like a chewing gum and pushes it right in. And then people are packing layers on layers.
Public service announcement, people. Yeah. Get your pleasure somewhere else, not from sticking Q-tips in your ear. Dr. Verma, thank you so much. We've run out of time, but really appreciate your time this afternoon. We'll let you get back to clinic there. Dr. Ravinder Verma, ENT specialist from MEDCare Medical Centre at JBR. And thank you for downloading this episode of the Afternoons with Helen Farmer podcast. Don't forget, you can subscribe. You'll get it direct to your phone as soon as it's out. And you can listen to me live on Dubai Eye 103.8, Monday to Friday between 2 and 5 p.m.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.